All right, guys, let's check out the Seiko spb225. This guy. It's an actual GMT automatic. Before we even get into the watch, guys, I have to say something about Seiko. I had taken a break from Seiko. Of course, I've always had the Monster. I love this watch. I'm recently heavily involved with refurbishing this older Seiko Sarb Alpinist. I'm even enjoying wearing my old SKX. Absolutely love it. On top of that, Seiko has a ton of other models that are just wonderful, and most of the community loves them. There isn't hardly any duds, at least in my world. I'm sure there are some duds out there from the brand. There always is. But the MM200 Reduced, I absolutely love it. The original, I say original, but like the modern original Alpinist, awesome watch. Then they go and do something like this. This watch, I was checking it out in the cabinet at Lucido, and I honestly thought this was like one of those, I guess, like I said, I haven't been following Seiko. I thought it was like a $3,000 Presage, and I'm like, I was dismissing it. And I said, fine, let me take a look at it. The price tag on it's only $1,400. I say only, I'm not dismissing that $1,400 is a lot of money, but look at this watch. It looks beautiful. This is the Seiko Sharp Edge series, and it's the Presage GMT. And it's an automatic, and it has a jumping hour hand. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but that's what I'm calling it. Let's get into the watch specs, and then we'll check out some more stuff on detail. 42 millimeter case, probably just a touch over, but basically 42. Lug to lug 49.5. Thickness 14.15, a little bit on the thicker side, but you know, it's Seiko and it's automatic GMT, so Seiko makes their movements a little bit thicker. It is what it is. 20 millimeter lug width here, bracelet tapers down to 18. You have just a simple fold over milled clasp. 1 micro adjust. I mean, you can say there's 2 holes, but you can adjust it one position, backward or forward. So not a ton of adjustability there, but you do have half links on both sides. So you're gonna get it to fit. There's a look at the case back. It's using the automatic, and you can wind it, but automatic 6R64 movement. I have not researched this movement at all. I don't know if this is something new or if this is something they've always had and they're just bringing it back. I'll have to do some research on that. It's also beating at 4 hertz. So the second hand is running at 28,800 vibrations per hour. Typically, the Seikos are like 3.5 hertz. They're a little bit slower, 21,600. So this one's beating at like what most automatic watches we're used to, right? We're tuned into. The accuracy on this is rated at plus 25 to minus 15 per day. That's seconds per day. Not too bad. Push-pull crown, very rigid crown, very stout. 100-meter water resist on this. You have a 24-hour root beer colored bezel on this that is non-rotating, and it does line up. I have heard people tell me that they've had concerns about the way these bezels are installed on some of these Presage, that they don't line up. This one lines up perfect. I don't see any issues with this one. I didn't look at a bunch of others. Hopefully I will, because there's a bunch of different colorways. This one is labeled as a special edition. I don't know if it's special edition in the same sense that this MM200 is a Seiko Boutique special edition. I really couldn't find any information on that. It's not like limited or anything like that, but I think the colorway is going to be a small production run for a small time in 2021, and then they'll move on. You do have sapphire crystal up top with AR coating on the underside. That's just going to be a Hardlex display case back there. Oh, I forgot to mention the jewel count on the 6R64 is 29 jewels, so it has quite a few jewels. If we zoom in on this guy, check out that dial in the brown and kind of like pinkish hues, rose gold colored on the GMT hand, the printing, and that lower PM indicator on the bottom side there. So you also over here, I should have like a pointer or something instead of using my grody finger, right? So we have this indicator over here. That is your power reserve indicator. So as I wind this, if you look at that, you'll notice that the power reserve is increasing. So that is very cool. And the movement feels pretty good on the wind. Now to adjust this, you can go ahead and pop this out and hack the movement, and then you can adjust the time. Now this is how you would set the GMT hand. I'm not going to get into like how to set up a GMT because I don't use them that way. So, but the other thing I did is I moved these out of the way because this down here, that's your date. So you have a date hand instead of a date window. Really helps balance out the dial, I think. It gives it another sub dial because you already have that power reserve indicator over there. You have some real estate for the Presage Automatic GMT, and then of course the Seiko up top. It's asymmetrical in the sense that it's not balanced, but like it balances in the sense that it's all kind of accurately taking up space. I think it just works. You have a nice polished ring around that sub dial, and then you have the polished small hands on both the power reserve and the date pointer. So to adjust the date, you're going to pop this crown out one spot. It's going to allow the movement to keep running. You'll notice that the second hand is continuing. So at this point here, now you can jump the hour forward or backward. In doing so, you will be able to adjust the date. If you notice right here, you just jumped the date forward. You can also go back depending on how you're traveling or where you're going. You might need to do that. So, but you can do this as you cross time zones and keep your home time and not mess up the accuracy of the movement without fiddling around too much. So you can just pop that around. So that is a very cool feature, and people that are into GMTs are going to love that. I wish I could get better visual on that dial. The dial embossing on that is beautiful. And I'm not sure what pattern that is going to take on for you guys, but it just works. Like a triangle waffle pattern or something. Nice signed crown. Excellent finishing on there. It's almost like a hue to that, so I'm sure it has like Diashield or something on it. Usually you'll have a little bit of like that hue on there if it has a scratch resistant coating or something. Nice oversized indices on this thing, and they're heavily filled with the Lumibrate. The Seiko Loom on this is going to be awesome as well, whereas a lot of the GMTs from the Grand Seiko lineup are absent of that Loom. So I feel like this one is going to be better suited for everyday wear, more of a sport type watch. Let's pop this on my 7 1/4 inch wrist so you can see what that looks like. Wears, looks, feels great, guys. I could see picking one of these up. I'm probably not going to. I say that about a lot of watches, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking up all these watches. But if I had the need for a GMT for $1,400, how do you top this? I mean, there's some really cool watches out there that are similar with features and stuff like that, but this one is like the total package. And there's some other really cool colorways. This brown one is awesome for this time of year though, the fall time. So big thanks to the guys over at Lucido. I'll put a link in the description to their site. They have 3 locations in Southeast Michigan. I was able to hook up with Anthony at the Rochester location, and he loaned me, with the help of Joe, my main contact at Lucido, this guy, the MM200, and the Alpinist. Oh, and the Brian May, which I have videos on all of these now. I was saving this one for last. Kind of like the best for last, really. Like this one really blew me away with the price and the features and the appearance of it. It's just a beautiful watch. And they have a ton of them. So again, reach out to the good folks over at Lucido and tell them I sent you and get hooked up with an awesome Seiko. They have a really good inventory. They have other brands too, and I'm going to feature some other brands. They have like Tag and Rolex and Breitling and Tissot, and they have a bunch of other brands, but we're just talking Seiko right now. Let's kill the lights and check the Loom on this thing. Excellent Loom. Plenty visible. So you have the hour and minute hand are clearly visible. You have the indice markers all the way around, with the 12 o'clock being a little bit larger, and then of course you have your GMT hand. Perfect. I'll see you guys in the next vid.